create a plan and be their guide, not the hero. Never ever try to sell yourself that I'm so great, we are so great, we are the best, we won all these awards, we are all on these shows, look at our results, which results are always good, but don't try to sell yourself because nobody cares. They wake up in the morning as the hero and you need to wake up in the morning as your own hero, but for them, you are their guide. Welcome back to another amazing episode of the FitBiz Journey podcast, guys. Today I am going to share how we made $46,927.50 on our month one at our newest New York City location. So if you guys are interested in that, how to open up a new studio on time, under budget, and make profit in month one, make sure you tune in because I'm going to share all that with you, how we did it. And on top of that, I am also going to create an actual broken down file class, whatever you want to call it, in our online university that we're creating, so you guys can actually go through it, see exactly what we use from emails, text campaigns, call scripts, the actual ads, pictures, videos, everything we're going to break down and give it away. So in that course. So make sure that you guys stay tuned because I'm going to basically link it in there eventually. It will be on our website and it will be also on electricmusclestimulation.com and also on fitbizpodcast.com. But that website might be live by the time this podcast airs. But other than that, it's going to air. The website will going to go live probably in about a week, max 2. So make sure you stay tuned because we are creating an online portal for you guys to do it on your own for electric muscle stimulation studios and for gym owners, because there will be a separate for EMS and then there will be a separate for gym owners and the business side of it, if that makes sense. So there will be a complete business side, all about sales, all about retention, client experience, and lots of fun stuff, of course, numbers, and then all the way on the left, it will be completely for electric muscle stimulation university. So you guys will have both separated. Okay, so stay tuned because today we are going to basically ease into it slowly. It's a big topic. So basically how to open up your next studio, right? That's the question. And I think we talked about it before many times, and I asked lots of guests also on when to open it and how to open it and if you should even open a new studio. Because number one question is to ask, why do you want to open up a new studio, right? So there could be lots of reasons. You maxed out. The number one reason should be you're absolutely maxed out and you cannot fit in any more clients. If that is the case, then you need to expand and open up more studios, right? But if you have not maxed out and you can grow this way still, then you need to focus on that. It could be from online coaching. Hybrid model is not actually very common. Everybody talks about it. And it could be supplements. It could be clothing line. It could be so many things. There's so many ways that you could actually grow, or it could be additional classes. It could be personal training. It could be group classes. It could be whatever you do and how big your studio is. In our case, our studios are very tiny, so they're between 700 square feet to 1,000 square feet. And we still we'll actually break it down because I have some statistics for you guys that I can share, and I pulled it from the data on how much an average fitness studio makes per size, and which is pretty scary. But anyways, we'll go over that too. So the thing is, the only time you should open a second studio, but first of all, if you want to open a second one, you know why you want to open that second one, and you maxed out your first one, so you can't grow anymore internally, right? Then you can, if you still want to, go ahead and open up your second one. And then in the second one, you really have to make sure, the good rule of thumb, if you can run that second studio with no income for a whole year from that studio, because your first studio can pay for the whole second studio, then you can do it. If you cannot, don't do it, unless you want to take big risks. But the bottom line is that I highly recommend your first studio can easily pay for the second one, and then go ahead and open the second one. Other than that, you don't really need to. You can still grow on the first one. So, and of course, there are many other ways. You could get a loan, you could get investment and all that kind of stuff, but I'm literally talking about opening up studios from profits. And then, and now, after the second one, of course, you can decide and use the same rule for a third, a fourth, fifth, sixth, just like we did. But the bottom line is, first you have to master and always look into how to open them up, what you do for marketing, what's the market you're going in for, why you're going in for that, where are the people hanging out, and so many things we should talk about it right now. So for example, before we open up our studio here, the first location in New York City, in West Village, Manhattan, we're all over Florida, so we have lots of locations, and you might be like, oh, well, it's easy. But here's the thing. First of all, it's really far away, right? I mean, it's a two and a half hour, airplane drive, but the point is, you cannot just be here if something goes wrong at your studio. Does that make sense? So, or if something goes wrong in Florida, what, you're supposed to just go there? So the number one rule also, well, I should say number two is, if you can open up a studio and you can leave it completely, like your number one studio should be able to run by yourself for basically months, years, and you'd never have to step foot in there because it's its own living organism. And that's when you know you can open up your second one. So in our case, I mean, I haven't been back in Florida since basically January. I've been just spending most of my time up here in New York City. I mean, I've been there for a few days here and there, but I haven't visited some of the studios since last year. And the studios are growing exponentially, even without me, because everybody knows their job, everybody's amazing, they have amazing leaders and coaches, and they're basically growing exponentially and on their own. It's just an own living organism. So it's, by the way, is the most amazing thing I can tell you guys. I think I put it into our Journey of an Entrepreneur video, which is basically the behind the scenes of running successful fitness studios and following the camera. The camera is following me, almost like Gary Vaynerchuk style, basically how he has it as well. But I wanted to create one for fitness studio owners and fitness entrepreneurs. But the story is, like, when anytime I go home, the most amazing thing to me and feeling that I have is so cool, guys, because I walk into the office at our headquarters, which is in St. Pete, and I see a team of people at their desk, on the floor, or wherever they are at the point, and just basically working away. And so many times I'm like, oh, what are you working on? That's interesting. And because they have their core values, they know where we are going, where's the future, what we need to accomplish. And basically they going on their own, growing on their own, and they come up with new ideas. And sometimes they don't even present it to me because they know that's the idea that's good and it aligns with everything else. So I just show up sometimes and I realize there's something new and cool thing that we are doing that we have never had before. It's really amazing, guys. So they don't depend on you. I can completely disappear and the company will still grow. And that should be a goal that you have. And that's a goal that you need to have at your first studio. And then you can go on to your second one. So anyways, let's get started. I just wanted to share that with you because these are really good things, by the way, to have and to look forward to, and that you need to accomplish, that your business runs basically without you and it also grows without you. Okay? So now let's start with my notes. Let's start out with the fitness studio industry. So the fitness industry. So what I looked up, it's basically on IHRSA, and then there's a few other ones that have some statistics online. I can link them into at the end of the podcast. But here's the breakdown. So the average, there it is, the fitness studio report. Average fitness studio revenue is less than $300,000 in a year, and we already break that in month one if you think about it, because we brought in over almost $50,000 in month one in recurring revenue. So that, if you add up the math, that it's almost double than what the average fitness studio makes in a single year, right? So that's pretty bad. But anyways, let's just go through this real quick. So the way they broke it down in here is that the supplement sales would, from that 300,000, it would be about 12,000, sorry, is about supplements. Group class is about 43,000. Small group training is about 61,000, and one-on-one personal training is about 115,000. So total revenue is about 297,000. That's what they say. So let's say $300,000. And then something interesting that according to this stat is that the bigger your studio is, the more you make. Wrong. So, but that's just basically the data on average. But that should not be your goal. You don't need to have a 5,000 square feet, 50,000 square feet, 20,000 square feet studio, because your overhead is going to be giant too, and you're going to look more empty as well. Eventually, of course, you can add more, you can grow. However, you should just come up with your model, know exactly how much square feet you need, know exactly how many dollars per square feet you're going to make. Let's give you an example. For these numbers, it says that the 5,000 square feet studio is basically on average, what is this? It's the average reported EBITDA, which is the earnings before interest, principal, taxes, and depreciation and amortization, if you guys don't know what that stands for, by the way. So the EBITDA for fitness studios was $78,000. That's the average, right? So it said that the studios under 2,000 square feet, 56,000, between 2,000 and 5,000 square feet is 88,000, and above 5,000 square feet would be 100,000. So according to this, technically, the bigger the studio is, the more you make. So in our case, our studio is only around 700 square feet to 1,000 square feet, and the goal is to each studio to be bringing in over $1 million. And as you can see, these studios are the average, the bigger is not better. If you break down how much they actually making per square feet, that's a really bad number. So why do you even need 5,000 square feet? I mean, I know why, because these are mainly group classes and they fit in more and more and more and more people. And in our case, we work one-on-one. So our coaches basically only see one person at a time, and we basically have a maximum of 4 coaches at any given time in a studio. But every single sector of our studio is actually planned out, how it's being used and when. So the coaches even work together as a team, and they schedule out their time. So if somebody has a client at noon, the next person have a client at 12:05, because they know at noon they would all walk in at the same time, they would all change at the same time, they would all change all this. So by giving them 5 different increments, sometimes 10, 15, depending on the studio and client and coaches, how much time they need for things. So after we aligned it, but we already have lots of studios, so we know how to align this, we are able to basically, the whole studio moves like this. It's almost like a, what do you call it? Is it a flywheel? Is that what it's called? Like it goes around in a circle and it just keeps moving on its own, and each different sector of the studio is being used just like this, from watering station to dressing rooms to toilets to exiting to waiting area, consultation, sales. It's moving just like this all around in a circle because we learned how to master that. So my point, what I'm trying to make, guys, you do not need a giant studio. Find out how much you exactly need, break it down before you sign a lease. Don't just find some random studio because it has some good numbers and big areas for you to create classes or whatever you think you're going to create. First, just create your actual model, okay? That will save you tons of money. But anyways, to go back to this, that's pretty bad, just honestly. It's just not good altogether. But this is why you guys are here, and this is why you guys are listening, to get better. And the top 5% makes way more money in way less smaller sizes, by the way. I know, like Ladies Strong Fitness, for example, they may bringing in over $1 million, and their size is around, I think, what was it? I could be wrong. You can just comment below or message me, but I think they are at 2,000 square feet. And then I know a few other ones who are way under that and bringing in way more. So the size is not always better, okay? So I also want to point out, sorry guys, that now it's just one camera. We had to make some sacrifices. So Michelangelo, our amazing videographer, is right now not with me. We have so many things that we are working on for you guys, by the way, that he's so busy at our headquarters that I don't even think he even left the place. I think he sleeps there right now, just because he has so much editing to do, so much recording to do, and all day long, every single day, him and his squad basically just hustling away, creating content for you guys. So I'm on my own, recording here in New York City right now, but I'm going home actually in 2 days, just for a week. But anyways, that's why right now the content is a little bit lacking on my side. But number one focus is right now to create the next step, which I will share with you soon. Anyways, so coming back to this. So the first thing we did before we even came to New York City, since we are based in Florida, is basically we figured out who is our target, right? It's very important because we know who your target is in Florida, but in New York City, that's completely different because it's a different lifestyle. People don't really drive here. They live here, they walk everywhere, and they love yoga classes and love Pilates. Pilates? That's how you say it, right? Pilates classes, you know what I'm talking about. And they love classes. That's why Equinox is so big on classes, Crunch is so big on classes. Everything is about classes. The weightlifting areas of the gyms, wherever I go, is always almost empty. I go to Equinox a few times a week, just because they have awesome amenities from cold pool, hot pool, sea salt pool, and so many things. And they also have a post-workout, best thing, I don't recommend it, but it's they literally have a bar inside of the gym that does not sell a post-workout drink that does have a single gram of protein in it. What it does have in it is alcohol. So that's kind of funny. But anyways, just what I'm trying to say is here it's all about the amenities and all about the group classes. So in New York City, we had to find out, okay, so then who is our real client? And we determined that it's similar as in Florida, but we have to aim for them a little bit differently. It's the badass woman here who, two A/B testing that we did is for super moms who basically stay at home and they take care of their kids. And then the second was, and don't have time. And then the second was basically the busy moms who are actually working all day, professionals from doctors, entrepreneurs, and all those. And you know, the women, of course, young professionals as well. But and actors, actresses, and that's what we went for, and models. Of course, that's why we are here in West Village. But so now we know this, we cannot use the same advertising that we use in Florida up here in New York City, especially we open in the kind of winter time, so that would look really bad. So once we figured out who it was, we came up here, and then we thought about, okay, so now that we know who we're targeting, where they're hanging out, what they love doing, what they don't like doing, they spend the whole summer in the Hamptons, literally, and or Europe, and all those things. So we had to consider all those things, and we had to share it in our ads. And then after that, we had to decide how much we're going to charge and what we were actually going to sell them. So completely different than Florida. So we came in and we were originally thinking we're going to raise our prices because we have to raise, obviously we can't have the same as in Florida. So we were like, oh, we're going to charge around maybe $100 because that's the average in New York City, how much they charge for personal training for an hour. And then I was like, I don't think so. So let's just go as high as possible. So let's go with $150 to $200 per 20-minute sessions. And you guys probably going to be like, oh, you are crazy. Well, that's what everybody thought. But we came in hot and heavy. We said we are charging between $150 to $200 per session. And we literally charging the highest in New York City, in Manhattan, but we also guarantee the results. We also get an amazing experience and so many other things. We're going to talk about that later. But the point is, we wanted to come above everybody else because that what it did, it made people question, well, wait a second, I pay half the amount because they pay around $75. So for the same similar services that we provide, $60 to $75. And they're like, wait a second, I pay half the amount for the same service. In their mind, they think it's exactly the same service just because they use similar equipment. But that's the perfect example if you think about it. Well, then how come Crunch Fitness charges, let's say, I don't know, $100 per month per membership? And how come Equinox charges $450 per month when they both have pools, they both have equipment and everything, right? So, and then even at personal training, how come at Equinox it's like, let's say $150 per session. I don't even know how much they charge, I said a random thing. And then let's say at Crunch it's $50 per session. So it's the similarities, right? So, but in their mind, they just think, wait a second. So anyways, they start thinking then that, why is it so much more? I need to check this out. And especially if they've been training with them and they have not been getting their results, then it actually twitched them or twisted them or whatever the word is in English. It made them think about it and come in and try us out, and it worked. And they literally walk in the door and ask us, why the hell would I pay double when I'm paying half where I'm training right now? And I was like, well, Susan, so it's a very valid question. I agree with you. Why would you pay double? And then they say something, well, it must be something better. And I was like, that's right, Susan. It is something better. So, and then we go in right into the consultation. And of course, we break it down from how they did before. Did they get the results? Most of them did not get the results as they wished for. So we already know that's why they are here, by the way. And then we just break it down what's important for them. What's their why? What's their internal, external, psychological problems? Who is their villain? What have they tried? What have worked? What haven't worked? And the whole charade. So it's a lot, about 45 minutes, but it's basically sales, one-on-one, which we'll also share later. But anyways, let's get back to this because we're running out of time and we haven't even talked about really how you can open up this studio and make 50 grand a month from it. So anyways, so before we did that, let me go to my notes. We figured out, who are we selling, how much, and after that, we we offer 33% off upfront, and we put it into all of our ads. And as I mentioned before, I'm gonna share the ads and lots of things before, but we advertise on YouTube, we advertise on Facebook, Instagram, and perfect example, guys, don't take it granted what works where you are, for example, in Florida, and because what if it doesn't work in New York? For example, what worked for us in Florida is basically, we're still recording, just want to make sure, double check, but what worked for us in Florida is Facebook. And in New York City, Facebook turned out to be not as good. What I mean by that? So in Florida, about 90% of our ads coming in, or 95%, I don't know what the number that I put down, but let's just put, I will share the exact numbers with you guys, by the way, once I create it online. But right now, just out of my head, because I don't want to spend too much time looking at the notes, but more than, way more than half of our ads, almost all of them in Florida, coming about, I would say about 90% coming from Facebook, and only about 5 to 10% from Instagram. Now in New York City, it's completely reversed. Isn't that crazy? So all of our ads basically coming from Instagram. And the best, or the funniest part is, the people who actually come in and meet us, they say they don't even have Facebook. So they literally say, oh, I'm too cool for Facebook. Not like that, but meaning like, ugh, Facebook, it's the past. That's how they are here in New York. And if we wouldn't know that, or wouldn't do our research pre-hand, we would have dumped all the money into Facebook, and we might not be able to be successful. So that's why it's important to do A/B test, pretty good budget, and run test runs, which we did, which I'm also going to share once we create this class for you. So anyways, so we run our ads. We got about 500 leads, which was crazy and overwhelming for our office back in Florida, who were just hustling away to book it for us. And number one rule and number one mistake, I share both with you. So what we did is we had a salesperson, which is a good rule of thumb. You need to have a salesperson who is only focusing on bringing in these people and sell them on your, basically what you're selling. And have the coach, your trainer and coach, not even focus on those people to deal with the scheduling, the booking, and any of that. So we have a sales team back in Florida who booked everything, rescheduled, followed up, texted, and all that, right, every single day. And then we had the actual sales team here at the location who sold them on. And then we had the coach who just basically trains them. That's it, give them the most amazing experience. So that's what worked for us really good. And before we didn't do that, we put everything on the coach. And our first month at our first opening was like $15,000, which is nothing compared to the $50,000. So basically, and it could have been $80,000. I'm about to share it with you. What was the $40,000 mistake that we have made, or actually $30,000 mistake we made. And what that was is that we underestimated New York and underestimated our goals. So we blew our goals out in like the first week, because we had made the sales on the first week basically that more than what we expected. And we filled up with 40, basically I think 38 to 40 clients by the end of the first month, which we planned not to have until the end of the second month. So we had to create a waiting list, which we had 15 to 20 people on our waiting list waiting for us to bring them in. And they're getting aggravated, pissed, because they all want what they can't have. And it works really good in New York, especially. But anyways, our trainer was already completely full, and we literally had to fly out people from Florida to start training here. It was already too late. We created the damage, the 30,000 damage, because we were like 2 weeks behind with this. And if you guys following us and know, it takes us about 3 months to train a coach at For You Fitness, because we go through so much deep training, and we even pay our coaches while they're in our academy. And they spend 40 hours per week for the first 4 to 6 weeks, when they don't even do anything but studying. Then it's all about exams and practice, and after the 3rd month, they are finally ready to go. But we were already in month 2 in the trainer, so we were still about a month away. So for a whole month, we were just like, we cannot take any more people. And the salesperson, and even I came up here, and I was like helping and filling in and all that kind of stuff. But that just did not work out as good. So that's where our $30,000 mistake came in, and we could have done $80,000 in month 1. And that's where we screwed up big time. So we'll learn from that. I'm gonna add all the details into it too once I create this online course for you. And then you're gonna see all the details about it, how we made the mistake, how to eliminate it, and completely break it down for you. So anyways, so the number one thing, and let's get back to my notes to make sure we're on track with everything, is So we spent about $4,000 on ads between YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and we pitched, of course, to the media and everything, which I also give away how to do. We had some models coming in from Calvin Klein. We had some really good, cool actresses and awesome people who come in, but we didn't use them, and we wanted to, but we couldn't because we couldn't fit any more people. So we were like, shit, what are we gonna do next? But anyways, so we're still gonna use them pretty soon. But now that we finally caught up and it's the summer, and in New York everybody's in the Hamptons, especially our clients, we have time to breathe. And once September comes back in, we go full blast again, and I'm going to share that plan with you guys as well. But so getting back, the number one thing that you need to opening up a successful studio after you figured out all that we just talked about and hire the right sales team, or sorry, not sales team, advertising agency, and work with them very closely, give them all the details they need, and really work out who you want to target and where, and only those people. And once that happened, the lead comes in. Of course, you have to have a really good sales system. So from texting, calling, emailing, the campaign, staying in front of them, all that has to be done right. And online, guys, it also helps that if anybody looks us up, and what's so crazy to me, almost all of the New Yorkers who came into our studio looked us up online and said, wow, I can't believe that you guys have over 1,000 reviews, 5-star reviews. And I think we're close to 2,000 now. But yeah, eStudio is a few hundred at this point. But anyways, not New York yet. New York only has like 20 since we just opened. But the point is, you have to look legit online. We have tons of coverage on media. We were in the movie Generation Iron 2 with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I personally in there with him. And then we were in on the Doctor's TV show. We are in tons of magazines, from Entrepreneur, from Men's Health, Women's Health, Men's Journal. They literally called us the crazy ones, with so many crazy entrepreneurs in it who were revolutionizing the industry, and they put us in there as well. But with what's his name? Richard Branson. Yes, Richard Branson was on the cover, and us as well, saying we are the crazy ones. That's pretty cool. But anyways, so all those things pop up. So we look legit for these people. So that also, I have to say, has to do with our success when we open up a new studio, even though nobody knows who we are, where we go, but when they look us up, they find something. So make sure that you have that done. And I'm also going to create these courses basically on how to get on the media too for free. But since so many of you already asked me about it. But getting back to this, again, the number one thing after that, when you have the sales team worked out really good, is you really need to make sure that the leads come in right. And when the leads come in, you have people who literally hop on the calls right away, and you're able to call them back in the first 5 minutes. That's hugely important. And I usually, when I go speak at conferences, I talk about that, how important it is to call them back in the first 5 minutes. But we did about the research on our own. According by Harvard Business Review, your chances drop by 9 times if you don't call them back in the first 5 minutes to ever get them back into your studio and make sale. But in our study of over 4,000 phone calls that we have done at our call center, it showed that in the fitness industry, it's only about 3 times. When I mean only 3 times, I mean, wouldn't you want to make 3 times more money? I do. So yeah, so if you don't call in the first 5 minutes, your chances drop by three times in the fitness industry. In our case, it could be still between 9, but in our case, it was 3 times less likely that they ever come in. The thing is, if you're calling me in 2 days after, especially in New York, it is so condensed, and so many fitness studios are on the news feed, and they just signing up to these 3-week trials, these fitness classes and all that crap, and ClassPass. If you call me back 2 days later, I would be like, who are you? Why are you calling me? Oh, I'm calling from, For Your Fitness. You signed up for our classes. And I would be like, who? I did? I have no idea who are you. Sorry, goodbye. That happens, by the way. So that is why it's crazy important you stay in front of them and you stay on top of your leads ASAP. So once all those are checked, marketing check, sales team upfront check with the calls and everything, you move on to the next most important thing, which is an internal sales team who knows how to sell these people when they come through your door. And the reason why I'm saying this, because who the hell is going to pay about $1,500 per month for our services when they could get it for $600 per month that is similar to ours? Exactly. And you need to learn how to sell to people we don't have clients who go to the Hamptons with their helicopter or with helicopter services, and we have people who work at a grocery store. And the thing is, they both pay the same price, but with the first person who flies helicopter, right, to go to work or fun or to the second home in the Hamptons, is very smart, more than likely have personal trainers, coaches, nutritionists at the disposal to him or her, and knows how to train. So there's no way you can bullshit them into some sales. They are pretty legitimate and know sales, know fitness, and know lots of things. They are here because you trigger them that you're charging a lot, and they want to know, well, you must know more than my current trainer. That's how they basically come through the door. So you need to know how to sell to them. Now the second one, basically the opposite of that, who don't have much money and they basically use their savings to pay for our services, you really need to know how to touch on them and able to sell them on your services. And then anything in between, of course. But the point is, you cannot just expect anybody to purchase anything. And then even if you are like a low end, so you go with the, I'm the cheapest, you should buy here, you would be still better off if you master of the sales and you have the people who are really good at sales and practice every single day, just like our team. And Ladrimore, Mike, RC's teams practices every single day too, in the morning for like 15 minutes, is because you get rusty is one. And second, that if you don't practice, you don't know. When I mean practice, I almost mean like, what is it called? Co-play, right? So with your teammate, you guys are recreating like a sales and basically you practice back and forth. Co-play, is that what it's called in English? I could be totally wrong. But anyways, so what I'm trying to say is that that you need to know how to sell to them, and you need to connect them to the why. You need to basically become that trusted guy by the end of the sales point. Become basically Gandalf to Frodo and Bilbo. So you need to be basically Alfred to Batman. You need to become the ghost in Hamlet. You need to become that guy, trusted guy that everybody is trusting. And how you do that, you actually have to ask millions of questions, find out their why, their internal, external problems, and then psychological problems, and then also who is their villain, that somebody's pulling them back or something pulling them back to accomplish their results. Break that all down, create a plan, and be their guide, not the hero. Never ever try to sell yourself that I'm so great, we are so great, we are the best, we won all these awards, we are all on these shows, look at our results, which results are always good, but don't try to sell yourself because nobody cares. They wake up in the morning as the hero, and you need to wake up in the morning as your own hero, but for them, you are their guide. And once you learn that and you're able to become their trusted guide with a plan that will get them the results, they're going to buy from you. As simple as that. And we're going to create classes on that as well, because I know it's more complicated than this. But let's get back on track. So after we figured all this out, start making some ads. Yeah, the ads were pretty crazy. So we filmed all over New York City in the winter for females and so many things. So we created their own set of ads all around New York City, only for Manhattan clients, and those ads cannot be used for Florida because they're completely different people. So know who's your audience, know where they hang out, know what they like, know what they don't like, know their habits, know them pretty well so you can create the right advertising and ad copy for them and make sure you A/B test, right? And then, I want to make a case for the people who don't want to advertise. So let's say you have 1,000 fans and you post on Facebook or Instagram, you have 1,000 fans on each. The thing is right now, because the engagement is so low, because Facebook wants you to pay for ads on Instagram and Facebook and all of them, then if you have 1,000 fans, only 1% of them is going to actually see your ads. I mean, not ads, sorry, your posts. Only 1% out of 1,000. And if you're really good at engagement, to give you an example, Gary Vaynerchuk's, have it right in front of me, is actually doing 2.75% engagement organically without any ads. 2.75, and he has like 4 million followers. So only 2.75 is the one who's engaging. That's pretty crazy, right? On the side note, mine is 3.4%, so suck it, Gary. Obviously, I have less followers than Gary, so it's a little bit different story. You can't really compare apples to apples. But the point is that you need to advertise, and because the organic reach is very low. So don't even expect for people to see your posts, honestly, unless you actually boost them. Don't just click on boost. You have to set up like actual audience and advertise to them. So forget that I said boost, because most people just click on boost and then let Facebook decide what works. Don't do that. Actually look into how to advertise right, okay? Or ask your agency that you work with. So now, getting back to this. From sales funnels, you have use ClickFunnels, but I can just tell you that we also use Loudermer as the advertising agency. So if you hire them, of course, work with them really closely and listen to them and do everything that they tell you. But to get back, number one is sales. Number one is know who you're selling to and what you're selling, how much you're going to sell it. And then after that, by the way, all this, which I'm going to share also, all this what I'm saying comes after that you guys are actually already know where you want to open up your actual studio physically and why you want to open it there. We knew exactly where you want to open and why in the West Village you are opening and all those things before we even thought about these things, right? So make sure you know that and then find out how you get in front of those people. And then once you get that done, who you're selling, what you're selling, how much you're selling it for, and who are those people, start creating the ads and then start testing, A/B testing. Then have a sales team who picks up the phone right away. Then have a sales team in the studio and then have the coaches ready. Make sure you're all ready and you're able to fill them up right away smoothly. So because imagine if we were able to have all the coaches and not 3 months after like we planned it, because for 3 months we planned that we're gonna be okay with just 1.5 coach technically, which was not the case, then we would have been already full. Our studio would have reached the goal, which is basically 100 clients, so a little bit over $1 million in a year in revenue for a 700 square foot studio. So, and then we could have moved on to the next one and open up the next one already after literally 3 months. So anyways, my point is that know all those details and things and you're able to gonna accomplish these so easily. But I hope guys this was helpful. I just want to make sure that it was. And don't forget that this was just almost like an intro. So look at it this way, that this episode was literally an intro for you. Get your awareness. And I am going to actually create the actual class when all the details, all the numbers, all the ads, I already put it here. I'm going to put in the exact ads we use, the exact funnels we use, the exact emails, the exact text campaigns, the exact sales scripts, and everything that you can imagine. The checklist, how to find a studio, how to find the right place, how to open up under budget and under your desired time. And that's really important because some studios can literally sit there forever and they go out of business before they even open their doors. We came into New York City, flew out our construction team basically, and we opened up in under 3.5 weeks and we were ready to go. So, and we literally had bloggers coming in here and creating amazing videos that, oh my God, this place is so amazing. So anyways, but the bottom line is I'm going to give all that, put it in a class format. I'm going to create all of that for you guys so you are able to actually go class by class, step by step, and you're able to learn it, use it, and recreate what we have done. Okay, guys? I hope that sounds really good. I hope this was valuable. Make sure to share this episode if you liked it, and stay tuned for next Monday. Have an amazing day.